Alright, welcome back to Duty's Daggers. I am glad to have you. Today we're looking at a couple different knives. You can see I already have them out of the packaging. This one I have not looked at all. This one, curiosity got the better of me and I've been messing around with it for a day. This one I have not even looked at yet, so I've saved that for you guys. These were sent in by a subscriber, and really appreciative of that, and you'll see exactly why in a minute here when we get to the Kunwu. But let's check out this guy real quick. The brand is Win Plus, and it's an Amazon knife brand, very budgety, but it's really quite interesting. Now, you can see just looking at it, the build quality is not the greatest. Huge gaps in here, not tight tolerances at all. I mean, if you look at just looking up in this area, looking at that compared to like a Brian Nadeau design, a Sharp by design, see how everything's just way tighter in here. Just very small gaps, but nothing touches still. This has very wide, large gaps everywhere. And it's just a greater margin for error because they're not manufacturing these parts super duper accurately. But this has a locking mechanism I've never seen before. So it kind of looks like an axis lock, tabs that you would pull down, but they actually move. Hang on. They actually move back this way to unlock the knife. Check it out. So, what do we have here? We have a flipper and a hole. And it actually has a pretty decent detent for a, you would think for a crossbar lock, but it's not really a crossbar lock, Now, when you go to close it, you hit this point here that you can't swing past. It's like a little thing you have to get past. So you can't just let it swing shut. It stops. You have to use your hand and close it all the way. Now, if we look what's happening in here, I'm not sure I'll be able to show you. This tab is connected to a bar that goes all the way up here, and it puts a little thing in a notch in the tang of the blade. I can kind of see what's going on in there. It's real interesting. Never seen one like this before. I think it's an okay design. I think the hole is way too big. You're kind of wasting a lot of this full flat ground niceness here with making a huge hole. Plunge grind's not great at all. Fake carbon fiber. It is pretty comfy in hand. I will say that for sure. And you can't use both sides to pull back at the same time because there's no real leverage to get it to pull back. I kind of brace this hand here and use my thumb to pull only one side back. So I don't know, just something interesting. Always like to see new things. Let's get on to the Kunwu here. So this is a new-ish Kunwu. We see we have the really nice sack that they give you always. Very nice sack. Very fuzzy inside. Looks like we got a strong spring. Hardware. And here she is. This is the Chad. Oh yeah, dude. Ooh, it's kind of heavy. Let's get this back in here. Okay. The Chad. This was their next release after the Pulsar, and it took a lot longer than they were expecting because the blade steel here is PM60. You can see it right there. PM60. Now, I have never even heard of PM60 before Kunwu came out with this knife, but apparently it is extremely hard. It's up in hardness levels with Maximet. So what happened was they had a pretty rough time making these blades because it was just causing havoc on their abrasives, on their machinery, and it took a long time because it is so dang hard. Um, but they finally came out with them, and I think they didn't come out with quite as many as they wanted to, but they did it. Sergio, the owner over there, and all those guys and gals, they did it. They came out with it just a little bit less than they wanted to. So I'm really excited to test this blade steel out. PM60. It's supposedly up there with Maximet, and being that it's very hard, it's going to be pretty fragile. Not like super fragile, but I probably wouldn't want to drop this like point down on a concrete floor. That might be a little too much for it, but you know, regular day-to-day cutting tasks, it's not. You're gonna be fine. But you know, this is really meant for holding a very good edge for a very long time. That's kind of the main, you know, the main cool factor and the main deal. What am I trying to say? It's the main deal. So let's look at the knife though. Pretty straightforward design. We have the same crossbar lock that we saw on the Pulsar and a couple of their other models. I love how they do their tabs. It's actually screwed on here. This little tab, really grippy. I really like how they do it. Very, very smooth crossbar lock. Just extremely smooth. One of the smoother ones I've ever felt. And the detent, even though, you know, crossbar locks always have bad detents, just the nature of the beast. This one feels pretty decent. I gotta say, it feels pretty decent. Obviously, I can fail it easily, but also I can kick it out very easily as well. We're looking at a sheep's foot blade. Pretty good sharpening choil. Definitely got some room on there. The thumb studs are titanium, milled titanium instead of an actual stud, which I don't think I own a single knife with these style thumb studs, and they actually are working pretty darn well. Yeah, reverse flick I can do as well. This is the orange peel textured titanium. You can see the slight orange peel there, and then we have some micro milling on the chamfering all the way around. Everything looks really nice. T8 hardware there. Nice milled titanium clip. Interesting pivot there. Nice dark stonewash on the blade. The blade really does look nice. Very, very nice. Seems like we got a good edge on this thing. I'll give it a good strop before we do the cut testing video. And yes, we are doing a full cut test video with this knife. We are going to test this PM60. That's the whole reason it was sent to me, so that I can test this stuff out. And I cannot wait. Let's do some quick size comparisons so you can get an idea of how big this knife is. Spyderco Delica, how about that? Since we got it out, we'll do the Sharp by Design Mini Evo. Let's do Spyderco PM2, about the same size there. CRJB Pyrite. And let's do a Spyderco Native 5. And might as well Elementum. Everyone's handled that one. There you go. Yeah, definitely a full-size knife. Ergonomically, it feels pretty good. And I don't notice any hot spots right off the bat, but we will see. We'll see what happens when we start testing it. Let's check the thickness behind the edge here. That way when I do the cut testing video, I will have that information. Looks like we got 13 thousandths right there. Wow. A little thicker here, about 16, 17. And then it looks like we get thinner up here. 15 up there. That's pretty good, man. Yeah, that's under 20, so I'm cool with that. This should cut well. The blade stock is 0.12. Yeah, I don't see any reason this isn't going to destroy the cut testing, especially with this apparently super badass blade steel. So that's about it. Look for the cut test video coming soon. I will do it. It'll definitely be this week sometime that you see it. And make sure you go watch that and see this thing perform. Can't wait. Thanks again for sending this in, buddy. And I will see you guys next time. Please like the video before you head out. I love you. Bye-bye.